How do you arrive at making a smart decision when you're faced with an important business decision that is going to cost you time and money, and you're not sure if it is the right thing? It sounds great, but you're not entirely clear on if this is the right thing to do at this time. More on this in a minute. My name is Beate Chelette. I'm the growth architect, and I work with visionaries and leaders to help them scale their impact and grow their authority. One of the things that happens in business a lot is that you are talking to other people. There's opportunities that are coming toward you. And these opportunities are around investing in a program, investing in some sort of service, a marketing thing, something that teaches you how to do, let's say, an online course, build a system, a strategy. So we do the systems and the strategies, really help people get clear on how that plan to be more successful is going to take place. What I see a lot is that a behavior pattern emerges when you have a conversation, and it happens to me as well. So this is, you're not unique. We look at the opportunity and we say, this sounds amazing. We look at the testimonials. We say, wow, when this works, this is really great. People are adding a lot of money. Other people have figured out how to get to a solution in a shorter amount of time than it would take you to figure this out on your own. So the logical first question is, will it save you time? Because time is money. I'm at a point in my life where time is one of my most precious commodities, and I cannot make more time available. So I have to be very diligent where I put my time, and you should too. So if somebody can give you a shortcut where you in, let's say, 4 or 5 weeks can figure something out, or in a day that will take you years to figure out, or that you've been trying to figure out for years, that's a mathematical issue, right? So you just run the math and say, if I don't figure this out, if I can't make, let's say, one more sale per month based upon this new idea, then I'm losing, let's say, let's just keep it on the low side, $1,000 on the high side, $10,000. So you're losing between $10,000 and $100,000 a year not doing something. Now, if you look at the cost of the program, if the program is $2,000, that really becomes a no-brainer. You're hurting yourself if you don't do this. So the logic behind this, I think a lot of you are very clear on, but there is another piece that is often misunderstood and completely misinterpreted, and that is the psychological barrier to change. So when you look at how you are historically working with change, you know that in order for you to get from where you were to that next level, on whether you quit your job, became an entrepreneur, were always an entrepreneur, but leveled up, you know that there is a change. You have to spend more money, you have to invest more money, you have to hire somebody, that costs money. And you do that oftentimes uncomfortably at first because you're easing yourself into this idea that you cannot do everything by yourself. So if you have a system or a person, then you can multiply that work and scale it up extremely quickly. That's why you scale up, because you see the value of that. However, internally, and this is your subconscious, this is something we all up against, which is why I wanted to talk to you about how to manage this in your head. You hear it and then you want to back off immediately. And your mind volunteers things of stuff that you've invested that you failed at. And we all done that, right? You lend money to somebody, you believed that an online course was going to help you, and then only to find out that that doesn't work. So let me explain what that is about. That is about that if you are using our philosophy in growth architecture with strategies, you would know that there are so many different strategies that your goal as a business owner really is to figure out which one of these strategies work for you, and that they do not all work. It's impossible. It's ridiculous to think. But our subconscious, our or even our conscious mind goes like, well, I've made an investment and I expect a return on investment. Other people have a return on investment because it's the right strategy for them. So do not ever expect that every strategy is going to work for you. It is your job to figure out which ones work in the shortest amount of time. And when you find out that some doesn't, when the strategy doesn't work, you immediately cut it, you let it go, and you move away. The next piece of this is that now you are experiencing this internal discomfort. I had an interview yesterday and it was really interesting. And this woman, Fabian, said to me that women specifically talk themselves out of this within a 48-hour time frame. That is how quickly we are discounting our ability when we see an opportunity to actually step into it and seize it. And really, honestly, that's really sad because we are recognizing that we have the capability. We are recognizing that we have the power. We are recognizing that we have the knowledge. We even created the opportunity that comes to us. It sounds good. It sounds right. It is at the right time. And then we revert back and find all the reasons why this cannot work at this time. And we back off, only then to spin in the same circle we've always done. So, what do you do when you are faced with an actual decision like this? I want you to examine a number of different things. First, think about what that behavior pattern is that is coming up now, the resistance to change, the resistance to step in, the resistance to make the investment, the resistance to stay the course, the resistance to something new. I, for my part, this morning had this like epiphany when I woke up. And I recognized that in my family history, my entire family has this history of doing something very powerful and successful, and then over time, slowly retreating back to where they started. And so when you recognize that pattern, now you have the conscious ability to break that pattern. And with a break in that pattern, now you kind of can move forward. Does this make sense? The second piece is that now that you are doing something, you're implementing a new strategy. Now you're recognizing that the strategy is like a domino effect. That means that now it also means when you change your verbiage, like let's say we build your system and we take everything that you do, we put it under one umbrella, we rename it. Yeah, there's work. You're going to have to get your capabilities briefing in place. Based on that, you're going to write the copy on your website, but kind of like all goes hand in hand. But there's a domino effect of things that once you make a change on how this change kind of continues, then you say, well, that wasn't what I was thinking. Well, of course, this is going to happen. You've done this 1,000 times, but it is important for you to recognize it's the internal resistance. And if this internal resistance is in your way of making this a breakthrough moment, and instead you feel that there's a breakdown or that you have to fight the breakthrough that you yourself have tried to implement, then you're in an internal battle that you kind of can't win. And then what happens is you pull back and then your subconscious wins because then you're back to where you started, and that is safe, that's overseeable. It's what you're safe and comfortable here, even though it's not safe and comfortable, and you decided that you wanted to do something else, but you revert back to that because you are not making these decisions in a really conscious way. So now, the next thing you're going to do after you examine what sort of that behavior pattern is, where it comes from, is you think about on how you typically act when there is a change. How long does it take you to make the change? Look back at your relationships that you maybe stayed in a little bit too long, the stuff that you've done. And I almost guarantee you that you'll say that you probably stayed a little bit too long. You probably waited a little bit too long. You probably should have done X, whatever X is for you, much sooner. If that is the case, then again, this is another piece that we're now bringing up to your conscious awareness for you to recognize to say, well, what am I doing? Am I in a self-sabotage pattern? Because this is the self-sabotage pattern. And I'm creating all these excuses and I'm creating all these different things that I don't have to make a change. So the subconscious, once again, wins. Finally, let's talk about what's known as a self-sabotage pattern. And, for those of you who know me, I listen to David Nagel, my mindset coach, a lot. And he had a podcast out where he talked about the self-sabotage pattern and signs. And I thought that was really interesting because you think about the self-sabotage pattern is the pattern where something happens, right? So a natural catastrophe comes. Your mom gets sick. You have a wisdom tooth that needs to be pulled. Your dryer breaks. That's an unexpected expense. And now you are about to make this commitment on this program or this investment, and then something else happens. And now, again, you immediately want to go and say, well, I guess it wasn't meant to be because the money that I earmarked for that now needs to go to the wisdom tooth or something else. Well, your tooth may have gone out regardless, right? I mean, that's just life. Or your car needs a repair because it's old, or the tires need to be exchanged because you're driving like a maniac. And whatever that might be, that's just the pieces of life. But when you start to interpret these things that happen in your life as a sign that something is meant or not meant to happen, then you are exhibiting your self-sabotage behavior because you're justifying why you cannot do something. And again, the subconscious wins because you're right back at the starting point. So the reason I'm sharing this video with you today is because we are in the process now of launching a number of different products and services. And I'm experiencing very much probably like you, what I call the oh shit moment, right? So you've done it all, you've created, and now you need to go out, now you need to sell it. There's always a part of us where we are afraid that something isn't going to work, that's something that we believed in. And so we look for things that are wrong with it, or we look for something that we missed because we kind of don't know if it works because it is something new. But I want you to be very clear about one thing. I mean this from the bottom of my heart. You wouldn't be here if you didn't create this. You wouldn't be listening to this if you didn't have a part of you where you said, I want more in my life. More in my life, more fulfillment, scaling your business, being able to scale it to the part where you have your system run, your strategy run, where you have operating procedures and workflow so other people can do tasks so you can be the boss. That's why you are here. I had a conversation with a client yesterday and she says, well, but now I'm recognizing that, having this, you know, can I take on all this extra work? And I reminded her that the reason we have created her system, her signature system, her unique system, is because she now can train everybody in her method. And that is the method that everybody else is going to train them in. So she can be the leader and no longer the doer in everything. That's why you create systems. That's why you create a strategy. That's why you would want to work with me. I mean, there's no other reason for that. Is for you to elevate yourself to that point where you say, I am now the owner of a company. I do the thought leadership work. I created the program. I created the system. I created the method. Now I'm going to find people that are coming in under this method that are taking different pieces of the system that we've created so that you can have at any given time a number of people in that system so you can scale it up. Should you wait if a decision like this is ahead of you? That is something that really you have to decide for yourself. I feel that money likes speed, and that if you created this opportunity to get exactly what you've been trying to solve and it sits in front of you and you're not taking advantage of it, and you're not stepping into that and you're saying, I'm going to wait to solve a problem that I've been trying to solve for years, month, whatever long it is, that's crazy. I'm sorry, But if that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do. But you need to answer that to yourself on whether or not you are stepping into what you said you're going to step in, or whether you are unconsciously backing off and then finding reasons to justify that. In business, as a conscious leader, as a heart-centered leader, as somebody who is aligned with spiritual principles, with the laws of the universe, with the focus of impacting and helping other people, you simply owe it to yourself to have that kind of clarity on what it is that you're trying to do. And that is it for me for today. It was a little bit longer, but I see a lot of people really struggling with making these decisions on whether or not they should invest in an opportunity or a program. And I wanted to give you some tools to figure this out for today. So if you want to know what your number one business growth blocker is, on whether that is your system, your strategy, or your authority, please go to growthblockerquiz.com. Take our complimentary quiz, and in a couple minutes, you'll know what is in your way of really taking your business to that next level. For any questions, reach out. You can like, comment wherever you see this video. My team is out and always checking, making sure that we're responding to everything. And I wish you an absolutely spectacular day. Thank you and goodbye.